Welcome back. Titan Bros are here. We are going to do a breakdown of the 2023 draft class, just like we did with free agency last week. So let's hop right on into this. Welcome back in. I have my co-host Josiah, who's bringing his deep, dark insight into the 2023.
Dark, huh?
Yeah, very dark, very dark. You do usually take the more negative side of things. That's usually your role here. But I'll tell you all right now, just a little inside scoop. If we're not watching the Tennessee Titans game together, we will do an amazing 50-yard pass play, an amazing 25-yard run to follow it up. The very next play, we got a 20-yard touchdown strike. Nothing from Josiah. Nothing. Just crickets. Then on their first offensive drive, they throw a pick six. I'm all pumped. And then, so we're up 14-0. It's only 2 minutes into the game. They get the ball back, and they do an 11-yard completion on third down. So I was like, our defense is trash. How are we supposed to ever win a game with this defense? Am I right? Would you agree with that?
That's a bit dramatic, yes. But, I mean...
Like, when I'm watching the game and I feel that my pocket blowing up, I know that it's Josiah complaining about something. Well, of course, a lot of times I'm watching, a bad play happens, then I feel in my pocket. I'm like, there's Josiah. Pull it out and you're saying something negative. But anyways, or here's one more thing he'll do. We do a nice touchdown and he'll be like, so-and-so is holding. I'm like... Who cares? They didn't call it. We got the touchdown. Just try it. Just choose joy once in your life. But anyways, we digress.
Titans doing, like, messing up drives me nuts. Then them do something right makes me happy. I don't know why. I've always been that way. But go ahead.
So literally, football is just a portal for you to be angry.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because you basically just said, I'm not going to be happy with success, but I will be angry with failure. And that's that.
I expect perfection, which you shouldn't as a Titan fan.
Why? Why? But anyways, yeah, so we kind of got off on a tangent there. So here we are. We're about to break down. It's not going to be probably the longest video in the world anyway, because we only have 6 people to talk about. And 3 of them basically have no stats. So let's... Yeah, go ahead. Do you have anything else you want to say before we just hop all around in here?
Last video, we talked about what we thought about our free agents of last year. Put a letter grade on that. And then this video, we're doing our draft picks. Same thing, letter grade each one. Again, like Gable said, we only have 6 draft players. So it's not going to be the longest video. But we'll try to just give you our opinion and see if you guys agree or disagree.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
right, so starting off. Colton Dowell, however you want to say his name. I think it's just Dowell. I don't know why I'm acting like there's a big debate. Stat-wise, one reception for 3 yards.
That's all? I actually thought he had more than that. All right, 1 and 3. Okay.
One's a reception for 3 yards. He played a lot of special teams, so he probably has some tackles and things like that I wasn't really looking at.
Right. All right, so...
And towards ACL late in the season. Which could eat away into next season. So maybe they kind of heal quicker than they used to. But anyways, I'll go ahead and say, I'm just saying a C. He's a 7th-round pick. Not much is expected of him. But at the same time, the fact that he almost never got offensive opportunities, it's not giving me anything to be excited about. But at the same time, he's a 7th-round pick. Are you supposed to have something you're excited about? That's why I'm just giving it a C. What else do you expect out of a 7th-round rookie wide receiver?
I would say he has a good mustache. Does he still have that? An afro, yeah.
I don't know.
For a while, he had just a mustache. Never a good look. Anyway, but yeah, I agree with you in the sense I want to give him a less than C grade because he did literally almost nothing to help us out. But like you said, he's a 7th-round pick. I think this was shame on Vrabel / Carthon that we didn't draft a receiver, which we desperately needed, not until the 7th round. So shame on that. You didn't expect too much out of him, but he did have a good season for Tennessee Martin. Was that who it was?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He had a good season there. So I'm like, maybe he'll be a small school player who's actually better than a 7th-round pick. But
he's 6'3" as well, so like the upside was there.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And maybe I put too much on a 7th-round pick, and I didn't expect much out of him. But I was like, could he be something, a little something like 20 catches, 200 yards, maybe 1 touchdown? Could he do something like that? But he didn't. Now, but the question would be, and this is with all the people that didn't play much for us. Vrabel hated playing rookies. How much was it that he just didn't play him because he's a rookie, or how much was it that he just wasn't good enough to be a wide receiver? You know what I mean? And here's another thing that goes against him is we have a terrible receiving core. You know what I mean? It's not like we're deep there. So if we was deep there and he didn't play much, it is what it is. But we had horrible receivers all year. He didn't play much, so it's like he couldn't even get on the field with that. But he is a 7th.
Let's be honest. Before you say your grade, we lucked out having DeAndre Hopkins get cut for no reason.
Yeah, if he wasn't there, oh my goodness, how he was be awful.
Treylon Burks was actually that'd have been Chris Moore would have ended up being our number 1 wide receiver. Chris Moore.
Treylon Burks was I can't believe how bad he was. Like his rookie year never said that he was gonna be this bad. Like
no, that's what confuses me. Which that's a whole nother video just waiting to happen. What happened to Treylon Burks? Treylon Burks was good his rookie year.
If
almost every game if he could stay healthy, almost every game he played, he had the most receiving yards. Almost every single game he played in his rookie campaign. He would catch short passes, long passes in the middle. He would never was much for yaks. Like he wasn't really good at breaking tackles or pulling through tackles, but like he was fine. He didn't have drop problems either. He was fine. He just couldn't stay on the field. Then his whole second year, he can't catch to save his life. He's a one-trick pony. He just goes deep, and then he can't catch the ball, and he's still getting hurt. So I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah,
I'm giving him 1 more year with a new system and a new wide receiver coach. If he's still just nothing and finishes the season with 250 yards, get rid of him. Maybe even cut him.
That makes the A.J. Brown thing even that much worse. But anyway,
I agree. Anyways, your letter grade, sir.
Back to Dow. Is that his last name, Dow?
Dow, yeah. Colton Dow.
I will give him, and this is going to sound a little harsh, but that's how I grade, as just slightly under C, which would be D+.
No, C-. You mean slightly under C-, you mean?
Sorry, yeah, C-.
So you're giving him a D+.
And the only reason, and this is might be a little harsh, is because we had such a horrible receiving core. We had injuries in the receiving, and he still couldn't get on the field and do anything. He only had 1 catch for 3 yards.
Apparently not.
So I'm going to do a D+ on that one. And it still feels a little harsh because he's a 7th-round pick. But I think the door was open for him to do something, and he just apparently wasn't good enough to be even on the field.
Yeah. I'll let you start off the next person. But we're going to go ahead and move on to Jaelyn Duncan, Maryland, tackle.
He was a disappointment too.
Stats, there's not really anything to say besides that. I had like 5 starts.
He was a disappointment because when we got him, and I feel like, you get people say this with a lot of players for a lot of teams. So I guess sometimes they just say it too much. But when we got him, a lot of people says this could be a steal. He's a lot better than being was he a 6th or 5th?
6th.
Okay. A lot of people say he's a lot better than that. Like this guy, they think he's going to be really good. No, not really good, but better than what he was drafted. And he got 5 starts, so he got his chance to shine. Maybe you could debate Dow didn't get his chance to shine. Duncan did. He got his chance, and he wasn't just bad. He was horrible. Then you could also say he was a late round pick. So do you want to go too harsh on him? But I'll say he was bad. You couldn't get much worse than what he was when he played. So I'm going to give him a D-. And the only reason I don't give him an F because he's not an Oreo pick.
I have to go a straight D as well. He has a lot of potential, had a lot of potential. I think he was the right pick at 6th in the 6th round. I think it was correct to also bench Andre Dillard to give Jaelyn Duncan a shot.
I agree.
But he was somehow even worse than Andre Dillard.
Let me kidding these people. Dennis Daly, Dillard, Duncan, all the starts with D. But anyway, where are we kidding these people? How are we getting tackles this bad? But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I already had that epiphany in my head. I was like, Dennis, Daly, and Duncan. If we bring in another left tackle that has a first or last name that starts with D, I don't want them. I don't care who they are. But but yeah, I have to give him a D as well. He was just awful. And he's going to be, I'm going to say the same thing about him that we just said about Treylon Burks, even though Treylon Burks isn't a rookie. But Bill Callahan's the right guy to get anything if there is anything to get out of this guy. He's young. He's technically supposed to have been a project anyway. Let Bill Callahan, coach him up. Maybe he can be our swing tackle, backup swing tackle, maybe. And that if in the sixth round you can get a backup swing tackle that's serviceable, that's fine. But for now, he's not shown anything besides he can allow a sack. And he did cry his eyes out one time when we lost a game. Like we had just lost a game and showed him. It just tears just pouring down his face. So he has heart, but it doesn't do a whole lot in the NFL. All right. So put a nice tidy little bow on the ones I'm critical of.
So far, I have a D+ and D-. We're killing this draft.
Yes, I have a C and D. So yeah, we're killing the draft. But next, Josh Whyle. I'm confused about him. I like what he was like. I'm on ESPN right now, and they have him listed at 6'7". Some things only have him 6'6", but it has him at 6'7". I love what he could be. Is this accurate? Does he really only have that? He has only 9 targets. Oh, I'm sorry, 9 receptions with 94 touchdowns. Nope. Cut the camera. Start this all over. He has 15 targets, 9 receptions, 94 yards, and 1 touchdown. That's all he has stat-wise. Only 94 yards. But I like what he could be. He had the drops in the fumbles in preseason.
He was awful.
Actually, it was just 1 drop. Yeah, in preseason, he dropped a pass that made a pick, and then he also fumbled one. But I like what this guy could be. I don't have enough information to write him off. But sadly, I don't have enough information to give him the big old thumbs up as well. He's hard to grade. Because he also ended up missing a lot of time with injury as well.
Which that's such a Titan thing to do.
It is. I'm gonna have to give him a. This is a big projection more than anything, because again, with so much limited time, which basically means we didn't get anything out of our 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick. But anyways, and we didn't have a 4th, so round 4 to the end, we had nothing. I'm gonna give him a B- because I think there was a lot of times, especially towards the end, Will Levis would find him. He would be like the safe place, and just such a big-bodied guy. I'm going to give him a B-, but that's a little bit of projection put into that as opposed to, what he actually produced. But it goes back to what you said earlier. And I plan on making a video probably by myself at some point where it's just going to be like an 8-minute video where I'm going to say, listen, I kind of liked Mike Vrabel, but here's the 5 main reasons why I'm glad he's gone. And one of them is going to be he didn't want to start rookies. He did not want to start a rookie. He even did that with A.J. Brown. I remember A.J. Brown, six games into the season, A.J. Brown only played like 40% of the snaps. So I don't know what's with Mike Vrabel not wanting to play rookies. Play your rookies. That's your cheapest, youngest, and sometimes elite, or not elite, but like really good players in their 1st and 2nd and 3rd rounds, because these guys have a lot of potential. But Vrabel just has this weird old Patriots code where if they're a rookie, they shouldn't see the field unless it's an emergent situation. So if I was putting money down on somebody being a possible break onto the scene candidate, I'm not talking about 800 yards, but like 400 yards, 500 yards. I could see Whyle doing that because I think he'll get a lot more opportunity. I hope. So I'll give him a B-.
I will give him a C, and a straight C. That is not much what he did this year. 9 catches, 94 yards on a touchdown. That's, not much of anything. But like you said, the potential's there, the big body, he has potential, but he didn't really do much. And I'm talking about what he did this year. Didn't do much. He got hurt, so that's not good. I wish he did more, because I hope we don't. What's that second time we had? Wesco?
Yeah, Trevon Wesco. We both in our last video said, yeah, it's just 1-year deal. We both said we're happy with him walking.
But here's the question, Josh Whyle. Do we see enough to put him as a number 2, or do we bring in a number 2? So that's the question we have to ask. I don't know if I saw enough out of him to say, oh yeah, we should have Chig 1, Josh Whyle 2. Again, I think I'm being like you, and I'm being overly nice to him. I'm just gonna give him a flat C. you can talk about potential all you want, but you got to go out there and play it. And 9 catches, 94 yards and a touchdown isn't much to be excited about. But I'm gonna be nice because again, I think there's potential there and give him a C.
Okay, all right, moving on. Moving up. No 4th round draft pick this year, so we move up to the 3rd, where we picked Tajay. I've heard Tajay, but I also heard Tajay. It's spelled Tajay, but most people still say Tajay. But Tajay Spears, who had 453 rushing yards with a 4.5 average, 2 touchdowns. He had 52 receptions for 385 receiving yards and a touchdown. You go first, right?
Yes. Yeah, I would say this.
So go right on ahead.
When we drafted him, neither of us was happy about this at all, honestly. We did not like this. But I will say he was better than I expected. I thought, honestly, and you did not go this far, so this is where we differ. I liked him better than Derrick Henry. I saw him do more with less than I saw from Derrick Henry. I liked his energy. I liked a lot more from him. He could catch, unlike Derrick Henry. So to be honest, I'd be okay if he played more than he did. At the beginning of the year, I wasn't like that. Because I know at the beginning of the year, you and I was talking like, oh, Derrick Henry's on the sideline too much. And Spears is out there. But as the season went on, I'm like, I wish he was out there more. I liked what I saw from him. He has a nice elusiveness. He has good, what's it called? Decent speed. He wasn't like the quickest guy though. But I saw a lot of stuff I like from him. I like his hands. But the thing is, and I still don't know about this, is he an every down back? Sorry, is that what he is? Or should we bring in another guy to complement him? That's the question now, and I'm not sure I have the answer. But I'll say this, he was better than I thought. He's definitely going to have value on this team, catching out of the backfield. He can run pretty good. So because he passed my expectations and he almost had 1,000 yards off scrimmage, so all-purpose. What was that called? When you have it both
all-purpose, yeah.
Yes, yeah, all-purpose. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give him a B+. All
right. First of all, I'm gonna push back a little bit. He got better running looks because they stacked the box on Derrick Henry, not on Tyjae Spears. So there's that. Also, Derrick Henry, even in his 2,000-yard season, his biggest downfall is if you get him in the backfield before he gets ahead of steam. That's when he's easiest to tackle. With that O-line, not great. When you have someone as shifty and fast as Tajay, one of their strong points is making people miss before they get to the line. So it's just different bags. Kind of like me and you back in our sports playing days. I was a speed guy. You were a big-bodied guy. Doesn't mean you're better than me or I'm better than you. It just we were different units. That's all it was. But anyways, so I'll push back on that. But of course, I say that after pushing back on that, I'm going to say I have to give this one an A-. I knew that that's not who I wanted. Yes, I think we could have just re-signed Dontrell Hilliard and got very similar with having the King still there.
Personally, I think he's a little bit better running the ball, but that's my point.
Yeah, I'd say he's a little better, or a good bit better running, but a good bit worse receiving. Because remember, Dontrell Hilliard was our main wide receiver there for the first couple games of last year. Which I can't believe he didn't get a job. But anyways, I remember saying this after doing this. I was just mad that we got a running back. It didn't matter who the running back would have been. Like Jahmyr Gibbs could have fallen some reason all the way down to the 3rd round, and we picked him up in the 3rd round. I still would have been mad just because it was a running back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, you know what? To be honest, I still say that. I still wish we got a receiver in that pick.
I mean, I agree. Especially when we got like Josh Downs. I think Josh Downs went in the 3rd round to the Colts, and he actually ended up being a pretty good wide receiver. Puka Nacua, obviously. Yeah. In the 5th round, we got Puka Nacua on our team with DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, I agree. It was still the wrong pick, but it was because I have this whole big thing. There's a big people discuss take the best player available, or do you go with your draft board? And to me, there's obviously the balance. But at some point, you're like, we didn't need a running back, but we got him, and very good in relief duty. It was nice seeing him be able to catch and go. He was shifty as all get out because I love Derrick Henry. We love Derrick Henry, but we've had him since 2016. He ain't shifty. He's fast, straight speed fast, and he's strong, and he'll stiff arm the heck out of somebody. But we haven't seen shiftiness like that in a long time.
We wanted that from Dion Lewis, but he was not that for us. He was not at all.
I guess I don't know if he was old or what his problem was, but yeah, Dion Lewis was not good for us. But yeah, so there's the shiftiness that I see him have where it looks like he's tackled and he just does this little move And next thing you know, people are just following everywhere and he's running in. I like it. I like what he can be for us. So I have to give him an A-. Even though, again, I was sour with the pick. And that has nothing to do with him. It has to do with need. But I can't help but give him an A- because he was there. It sounds so goofy to say, but he was there for us every time we needed him. Yeah. And he always came through for us. So let's go ahead and move on.
Did you grade him? You said A- actually.
Right? A-.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick, let me just ask you one question. Is he going into the next season? Do you want him to be running back number one? Like he's the guy who gets 20 carries, 25 carries, and a couple catches, or do you want to split back? Move into the split back kind of situation?
We need to move into the split back because I think Tennessee Titans were like one of like 3 teams that had a cowbell running back.
Gotcha.
And it's just
go with the hot hand.
It's a thing of the past. Go with the hot hand. Yeah.
I kind of think I feel that way too. Actually. All right.
Okay. It's nice that we agree on something. All right, next one. We're going to jump around. Let's jump to Peter Skoronski first because this one's going to be short because there's only so much you can say about offensive line. I feel like you're going to have a worse grade than I am. I'm going to give him a B+. I'm giving him a B+ because he was by far the best offensive line on our team. By far. The reason I don't give him a higher grade, his last couple of games, he allowed a couple sacks. He had like a 3-week period where he allowed a sack per game. But there's 2 things. He lost a lot of weight and strength and said so. He lost a lot of weight and strength with his emergency appendectomy, to say that right. Yeah.
Which is such a Titan thing. Like,
crazy thing to happen.
Yeah, like that's not even an injury, but you know what? Of course it would have happened to a Titan player.
Yeah, yep. So all that happens, plus the horrible left tackle play next to him. And let's be honest, not great center play on the right of him either. Yeah. He had no help. Expecting your rookie left guard to be the glue guy on a offensive line, like you're asking too much out of him. I could bump this up to an A, but just because he had that run at the end of the season where he allowed a couple sacks there, that's why I'm breaking him into the B+. But I think he'll be fine going forward.
Listen, I'm not gonna be actually too much under you. I'm gonna be B flat. Because he was our best offensive line. He was a rookie. He was our best offensive line. So you got to give him credit for that. And I would say in the midway of the season, I would probably give him an A, maybe even an A+. Mm-hmm. I liked him fine. It wasn't just the sacks, which he did, but there was 7 run plays. He was just getting tossed, one-armed toss. And yes, you blamed it off the lost weight with the surgery. You could be right. So this could all be a concern I have now that's completely gone next year. But I saw him getting tossed, and I actually remember one time when the reporters, because it was like the second time of that game, he just got tossed. And so it was like, Peter Skoronski getting tossed like a rag doll or something like that. I'm like, that's not what you want to hear from your guard, because I want a guy who would be making lanes and making holes and run plays, not getting tossed around like that. So that was a little bit of disappointing. But again, maybe with another offseason, gain some weight, gain some strength, get back to where he was. We have no problem. And to be honest, a B is not even bad. And I'm not saying he failed or nothing like that, But I'm just saying, 11th overall, you get a guard, you would at least hope this is an elite guard. Even then, even if you have an elite guard at pick 11, some people say that's just too high. There's some positions you just don't pick at that. Guard is that to me. But, at least be elite if you're going to be.
But even in hindsight, though, if you're looking at hindsight of how the draft played out, it was kind of the right pick still, because there were no O-line taken after him that are better. Like Broderick Jones for the Steelers wasn't better. No. You look at the top 2 wide receivers was Quentin Johnston and Jackson Smith-Njigba that went to the Seahawks. Those are the top 2 wide receivers who went in 19 and 20 or 20 and 21. They went back to back. Neither of them, actually, Quentin Johnston for the Chargers had an awful rookie season for being a first-round wide receiver. And then I think Jackson Smith-Njigba had like 5 to 700 yards, somewhere in there. It's a big old range, but
if
it's
still 700 is acceptable to me. If it's 700, I know 500 is 700.
But he's the number 1 wide receiver in the draft, supposedly. Yeah. Number 1.
But also,
and of course, then you have like Puka doing way better than that. So it's just like, was it like? So it's probably better that we didn't get him. Is what I'm trying to say. All right. So go ahead.
No. I mean, I agree. Maybe it was the right pick. We didn't give him much of a shot at tackle, did we? Because when we got him, like tackle, oh God, and I feel like boom, God, that's what he is.
So as soon as they just said his arms are too short.
Yep,
that's tackle, what they always said. And that was that. Everybody says it. All right, let's go ahead and jump into what's going to be the longest one. And Will Levis. His stats. He had a 58% completion, 1,808 yards, 7.1 average per pass, I guess, or per completion, 8 touchdowns, 4 picks. Floor is yours.
Will Levis.
One to grade.
Because when we knew he was gonna start, you and I both said, Gabriel, I hope he does so bad, you're like, move on from him. Or he does so well, you're like, that's our guy. And I think we both gotta admit it was closer to the middle than we would like. Me personally, if I was putting on a scale, 10, he was amazing, 0, he was awful. He was more the 6 range, in my opinion. He did a little more of the I saw flashes than he was more of the I saw that he's not the guy. If I had to rate it, but it's more in the middle than I would like. He was wildly inaccurate in too many situations I don't like. That I feel like if he doesn't fix that, there's going to be a lot of drives stalling because he's gonna miss a easy pass. He bricks too many passes. Just bounces them off the ground, which I don't understand when you got arm strength. That's your number thing. You got arm strength. Don't get that. But there's so much potential at the same time of him being able to, Mahomes it like flick of the wrist, not standing in the typical sit your feet, and he just flicks it and it just goes perfectly down the field, 80 yards right into someone's hand. And so there were so many flashes. I'm like, I like that. And then there's a lot of, oh, I don't like that. How do you miss that? How do you brick that one? How do you, there's, he had, here's the thing. He had, what did you say, 4 picks?
Do you not see me shaking my head? Yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. But anyway, so he had 4 picks. But the problem is he had so many drop-off hands. He had a lot of knocked-off hands. So that could have been a lot higher than it was. By the end of the day, they didn't catch it, so it doesn't count. But there was some games, like you and I was there live, but in the Pittsburgh Steelers game, if you look at his stat line, it doesn't look amazing, but he has some big boy throws, what I would call that. Outside the numbers, no pressure on his face, but he just, with that arm strength, was able to throw it and drop it right into
my son.
Yeah, that's fine. Drop it right when he needs it. So he had a lot of good throws, and I'm sorry if I'm ranting. I'm just saying he was all over the place. He was a mixed bag. But I'll say this. I liked his heart. I feel like he will be a leader of the team. That may not be enough because there's a lot of quarterbacks that end up not working out, but people loved him, like Mariota. People loved Mariota. Remember him in Kansas City in the playoff game? Him making those blocks, and everybody loved him. So, that's not everything. It's huge, but it's not everything. If you don't have the talent, you don't have the talent. But he has a lot of stuff that you do like. And because of that, I will give him a passing grade and passing a grade good enough that I say we should just build around him, focus on him. But I'm going to give him a B-. All that to say B-. Do any of those things I said that you disagree? Any of those things you agree with?
Some of them I disagree with. He definitely skipped some, but it's not enough for me to be like, that's one of the issues I hate. I didn't like him because he skipped maybe like 5.
If that's the case, then you think he should be an amazing quarterback because I think he has a great arm strength. If he's accurate, if you think that, then there's really no
downside. That's probably the one I disagree with you most. I don't think his accuracy was bad. I think he just had bad decisions sometimes, especially across the middle. He was dropping dimes on the outside, but for some reason, a lot of times in the middle, he would just baseball pitch or sling it, where there's like 2 wide receivers and like 3 DBs all just kind of piled up, and the ball just kind of like either doesn't touch anybody or just kind of bounces around a little bit and hits the ground. Where like too many times that happened, I was just like, what did you see there? Especially like if it was one of those few times he didn't have somebody in his face. He snaps it, looks around, and then just zips it, and then I'm like, what did you see there? But then in his defense, per usual, I said it with Tannehill for the last like 3 or 4 years, 3-ish, because technically we used to have a good offensive line just back in like 2020 when we had Roger Saffold and Taylor Lewan and Ben Jones and Nate Davis. I miss those days. But anyways, or almost every year Tannehill, the last couple of years as a starter, he had like the least amount of separation for wide receivers and one of the least amount of times to throw. And the same was true with Will Levis, where I'm just like, actually, that's shame on the GM. And maybe not Rand Carthon. Maybe not Rand Carthon because he has a year under his belt. But I'm like, can you not get this guy either wide receivers that get open or protect him?
Yeah, I would say that is something I probably should have mention because I meant to say that when I was thinking about
Sporting cast is awful.
Bad offensive line, bad receivers. Because you gotta give him one. Even if he has a crappy offensive line, give him receivers like Joe Burrow in his first couple of years. Crappy offensive line, but you know what? He had some great weapons though that he still was able to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna have a crappy offensive line, give him some receivers to throw to, or vice versa. Maybe crappy receiver, but at least he has an O line to give him time to someone get open. Give him
you got 31-year-old DeAndre Hopkins needs a breather, steps out for a play or two, and you got this quarterback dropping back to throw to Chris Moore, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, and then just whoever else they decide to march out there. I'm just like, what is this? This is not an NFL wide receiving core. It's just not.
Exactly. We said that the year before too. So
yeah, I mean Robert Woods was our number one wide receiver with a nice 500 yards. But anyways, back to Will Levis. I think he has so much potential. But here's a weird thing I feel about his stats. I feel like he should have had way more touchdowns and way more picks. Because every single time we got within the 15-yard line, we just gave it to Derrick Henry and he ran it in. That's just what happened.
Because I
feel like we stalled and kicked field goals. But like he could have had so many more touchdown passes, but we just give it to the King, which makes his stat look a lot worse. But then, like you said, especially his first 3 starts, he had so many balls drop off, bounce off people's hands all the time. So I feel like he should have been more 12 touchdowns and 8 picks is almost what I feel like his stats should have been.
I feel that.
So I'm going to go slightly better than you. I'm going to give him a B. He could very well end up turning into an A when you have a quarterback that you imagine drafting your future quarterback in the second round. That's good. It's top of the second round, but it's second round nonetheless. But if it doesn't end up working out, and I'll be annoyed because we're 7th overall pick right now. We could have been in the market this year where there's 4 or 5 guys that are projected to go pretty high.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I haven't done a lot of research on him because we have Will Levis, and obviously we're going to buckle down and go to war with him this year. So I haven't done any research on him, but I don't know. And that just goes back to the whole situation where last year we should have decided if we were going full rebuild or if we were going tank. Yeah. Because but that ship is sailed. That video has been made. That conversation has been had.
Real quick, can I just say one thing though? We did not completely tank, but we end up with a tanking record. You know what I mean?
Technically, if we would have just not drafted, if we would not have signed DeAndre Hopkins, and if we would have traded Derrick Henry and or Tannehill, it would have been a full-on tank. Because technically, we started off the season by saying Taylor Lewan, our best offensive line, cut him. Robert Woods, who was our number one wide receiver the year before, cut him. Bud Dupree, our number one edge rusher minus Harold Landry, cut him. So technically, we started cutting all of our best, most expensive players. So technically, we did the tank, but we left Henry, we left Tannehill, and then we brought in DeAndre Hopkins. Those 3 things is what made us not go full rebuild. Because we drafted the running back for the future, we drafted a quarterback for the future. So technically, every move we made was a futuristic move minus those 3. So I don't know.
I feel like we should got better.
At this point, I'm glad we have D-Hop because he's under contract for 1 more year. Yeah. But yeah, with Tannehill and Henry just being on our roster, us only winning 6 games and us paying a bunch of money to them, that's a little depressing. But anyways, B, I'm giving him a flat B. I really think there's a lot of potential there, but I think there's also a lot of potential that he could just be really bad. But here's the thing. We have a new offensive coach. Yeah, should give us more than 2 wide receivers on the field at the same time. At least ain't like Terry Robisky. Remember Terry Robisky loved having 1 wide receiver formations? What an idiot he turned out to be. But anyways, I'm excited about an offense. Let him throw the ball. How are you supposed to know if this is your quarterback of the future if he throws the ball 20 to 24 times a game? If you look at other teams have like Dak Prescott. Now, they're stupid with Dak Prescott. He throws it 50-plus times almost every single game. I'm like, or 40-plus, let's not be too dramatic, but 40-plus times every single game where I'm like, not even going to try to run, are you? And it is just ridiculous how they do that sometimes. But I would much rather it be a 30 to 38 times a game for Will Levis. So we actually get to see what this guy's made of. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because to me, the NFL's impatient. I want to know about guys sooner rather than later.
Me too.
Let's see the guy sling it. Let's bring in wide receivers who are wide receivers, not somebody who has special teams value. I want to see wide receivers who are fast or good route runners. I don't want to see wide receivers who are willing blockers downfield. These are all things I'm going to go over in my Mike Vrabel video. But anyways, I just want to see modernization of the offense, and let's let Will sling it around a little bit. I'll give him a B. Okay. So that's it. That's all I got. Is there anything you want to add before we get on out of here?
I think that one thing though I would say is Will Levis though. I'm not sure. I think one of my favorite moments of his, even though we didn't need the win at all, if we lost that, we probably would have picked a little bit better. The Dolphins game, that was a good comeback. To do that comeback at the end, and you're a rookie, that's pretty impressive, you ask me. And I love the heart he showed. And he had 2 drives. Every pass was a dime. It was dime, and it was just that was a thing of beauty. You got to give him that.
Yeah, that was beautiful. It was beautiful. You were at work, right?
I was watching it when I wasn't supposed to. I was watching that. That was I saw that, and then when I saw him eat that second touchdown, he was like, yeah, on the sidelines. I'm like
a crazed fool.
Like he went. To be honest, that's what gave me the okay. I want to do one more year with him because I was on the fence with him. And then that game happened, even though that wasn't his last game with us. But when that happened, I'm like, okay, that game in itself should be good enough to give you a season where we focus on you. And you're the system, and we'll try to see what you got. That game, that's won me over. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna gear with him, and Tyjae Spears. Last year was Henry and Tannehill. It's been Henry and Tannehill for a while, since 2019, and now it's gonna be the new era of Will Levis and Tyjae Spears, or hopefully Will Levis and a wide receiver, because I'd get tired of the running back being the focal point of the offense. That's another 3 hours worth of talking that we probably don't need to get into. Because, as expected, this video turned out to be a lot longer than I expected. But anyways, that's all I have. Thanks for joining us. Please, if anyone's still watching this late in the video, please like. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. We'd love to read them, interact with them. It's always a good time. So we'll catch y'all in the next video. Not sure what we're talking about yet, but it'll be fantastic. I do know that much. So peace out. Tighten up. See y'all later.